Siringo, Undercover in the West, written by Nathan Ward. Pilot episode, You're Charlie. Teaser, exterior, Railroad Depot, Gunnison, Colorado, winter 1888, day. Platform is covered with snow, as on the nearby streets as three large bearded men, cuffed and shackled, are led trudging the half-mile from the depot to the city jail run by Sheriff Doc Shores. Shores, who resembles a squat buffalo, Bill Cody, has come to meet the convicts' train. Sidewalks are full of onlookers hoping to see the passing outlaws, sliding their shackled feet through the slush.
Ma'am, you might want to move the children back. These are some wild men, not the circus parade.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. I think I would feel easier further back.
Boy and girl are pulled reluctantly against the storefront. As the group of men reaches him, Doc Shores turns to the convicts' two badged escorts.
Welcome to Gunnison, gentlemen. Who have you brought from my jail?
These here are the Smith brothers I wrote you about. Farming sons out of Kansas who robbed the Denver Rio Grande near Green River Station. And this one their accomplice near as we figured.
We ain't saying nothing about that.
Well, who asked you then? This don't concern you, suds. It's lawman talk. Have any guests already?
Just a wife killer named Charlie Lawrence. One in Wyoming where he done the grisly deed and skipped his hanging.
Escape killer trumps train robbers. Still, I'll be glad to unload these boys on you. They're pretty rank from hiding in the woods.
We'll get them all acquainted then. People tell me I'm a gifted host.
Interior, Gunnison Jail, continuous. The jail features a cell just large enough for the three Husky train robbers plus the smaller, Charlie Lawrence, Siringo, who looks bedraggled and furious. Every bit the wild-eyed frontier killer with his drooped mustache and matted hair. The train robbers huddle on the opposite side of the cage. Camera focuses on the cell's blood-spattered floor.
Hey, Sheriff, there's old blood all over this cell.
It's on the wall too, and the windowsill.
Siringo remains standing, looking away from cellmates as the sheriff returns.
Yep, fellas, one of my guests hid a shaving razor in his boot and cut his throat from ear to ear as I brought him his lunch. But the blood's all dried now. If you lack the sand of prison life, do me the courtesy of killing yourselves elsewhere.
The sheriff turns to go, stops.
Oh, yeah. A few years back, your cell was also home to the notorious man-eater, Alfred Packer.
A Colorado cannibal? Pa told us he ate 5 men.
Well, he ate the parts he liked. I was cautious putting anyone meaty looking like yourselves in with him. We slid his meals under the door, but he was picky.
Sheriff leaves his prisoners. Siringo sniffs and breaks his silence.
What's that extra smell, boys? It ain't the old blood or the bourbon you brought with you. Or the greasy blankets. Ain't the sheriff either.
Oh, that's just my brother. He got a hole in his head that's never healed properly.
From a bullet, you see?
Parts hair to show a small seeping hole.
My brother's shot bounced off the rock during this dispute he was having.
Siringo moves to a corner of the cell as the sheriff's wife enters with supper. She stays near the street door, laying trays on her husband's desk. After the sheriff serves them, the men all take to the floor to eat.
Long night ahead, boys. War stories or ghost stories. I don't care which. I'll tell you how I killed my woman and escaped from a jail a lot like this one.
Okay, but don't expect us to tell our story. You take it straight to the sheriff.
They're gonna kill me regardless. So tell you what, I'll go first. Give you the story of how I might have killed her, and you judge whether or not I should hang. Then you give me some of your adventures, and I'll be the judge. Tell you how much of it to say at your trial. I'll be dead and past caring by then anyways. Or you can spend a long night taking turns keeping watch on the murderer you're sharing a cell with. Up to you, boys.
The train robbers exchange looks. Fade out. Interior, Gunnison Jail, day. Several nights have obviously passed as Sheriff Doc Shores comes to take the escaped killer, Lawrence, Siringo, out of the cell to hand him over to the undersheriff pretending to return him to Wyoming for execution. As Siringo shakes each of their greasy hands, the train robbers are obviously sad to lose their worldly cellmate. The undersheriff clamps new handcuffs and leg irons on Siringo for the slushy walk back to the train.
Remember, fellas, don't do what I done. Tell them what you need to. Serve your time like a man. At least you'll still have a life to go back to. Maybe even run your daddy's farm.
Exterior, outside Gunnison Jail, continuous. Sheriff Shores looks both ways and lowers his voice like he's telling a dirty punchline.
Okay, you get enough to testify?
You won't even need me. Those boys are ready to spill everything. How they planned the robbery, the island in Green River where they hid, the railroad should be pretty happy.
A nice piece of acting. Need a drink and a full meal? Although, truth be told, you've been eating my wife's cooking the whole while you were locked up.
I'll take the drink after I get the hottest bath ever drawn in this town. Up bunked in hog barns and huddled with my pony to keep warm. But that cell of yours wouldn't suit a monkey house.
Shores smiles, unlocking the wrists and ankles.
Dogs are much cleaner and smarter than those Smith boys. Mrs. Shores is not fond of my dirty jail either, but I find it does speed up confessions. You'll want to get back, Charlie. How long since you've seen your wife?
Doc, each time I start home, I get waylaid with a fresh assignment. Can never quite reach the door ahead of the company telegram.
You're like that Ulysses, always trying to get home.
President,
Well, him too.
where I grew up during the war, his name was a powerful cuss word.
Shores shakes his head as Siringo crosses towards a sign that reads, Hot Baths.
Yep, that sounds like Texas.
Interior, Gunnison Bathhouse, same day. Siringo's knees, shoulders, and filthy hair show above the waterline of a man-sized bucket that holds him. A large woman in a broad skirt pours more steaming water over his head and neck. His eyes are shut and mustache hidden below the surface as dirt rivulets down his face. The woman pauses before dipping the bucket again.
You sure you're good for the price of the bath, mister?
Told your woman, I'm a guest of the sheriff's. Doc Shores is paying.
She waits a beat for Siringo to start to chill, then lets fly a new bucket load. Siringo, eyes closed, is braced for the splash as the tub rises to its limit. He slumps under and blows bubbles as runoff puddles the wood floor.
Looked more like you were Doc's prisoner in that bloody cell he got.
End of teaser. Act 1. Interior, Roundup Saloon, outside Cheyenne, winter, day. A low-ceiling country bar on the way to Fort Douglas, hung with elk horns, snowshoes, and a mangy brown bear's head. It makes most of the year's money off of cowboys during the summer roundups, and lavishes attention on rare winter visitors like tonight's remaining guest. We see the bartender's POV of Charlie Siringo, leaning on the bar. He again looks disheveled, but less like a killer than a common outlaw, and his rounded mustache dark, his face tanned, nearly of the color of the saddle. Inside his jacket, a strap colt bulges slightly through his shirt. Siringo's solitary dinner has evolved into a drinking party with the bar's husband and wife owners, Howard and Ida, who call him Charlie Henderson.
So you had some kind of misunderstanding with the law in Texas. We got a lot of that around here. It can be as good a reason as any for seeing the world, I imagine.
And learned about human nature. Much as I miss home, I've seen a lot of good country, met a lot of fine folks since my troubles chased me north.
That's a good way to look at it. I know you fellas like to play your cards close, but that must have been some big misunderstanding.
Well, let's just leave it at that. My disputant ain't in a position to tell about it.
Both men laugh as Howard replaces their whiskeys. Leaning on the bar at Siringo's elbow, Howard's wife Ida slides her own glass towards her husband as he pours.
You two sure made an old cowboy feel welcome. Let's have a last one.
To our new friend, Mr. Henderson, and his many happy returns to the Roundup Bar.
A toast worth my good whiskey. To Charlie.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks, Ida.
Counts out silver on the bar.
And may my sober mare know the way over the mountain. Is there a clear trail to Fort Douglas?
The road is easier, but longer. This bridle trail takes you up around the peak, and then if you lose the path, just keep going until you come down the other side, hard by the river. Not many take it this time of year with the roundups finished.
I'll grant, it's a lonesome season. If I have any trouble, is there a camp along the way? I heard there's one a few miles out.
Oh, you don't want to stop there. That's a hard group of Texas boys. A couple are wanted, and they don't like visitors.
As long as they're Texans, I got nothing to fear.
You should tell him, Howard.
Yeah, I'd be a bad host if I didn't mention it. Those boys have already killed 2 travelers who paid them a surprise visit. One may just have been lost, but was wearing an Eastern-style getup. The other was a real detective, looking to take them unawares.
Well, I ain't lost, foolish, or a detective. So I should be all right. 5 miles up. Better get moving to beat sundown.
Claps on his Stetson and grabs his overcoat from the hook. Slipping a bottle into his pocket, the couple follow him outside like parents seeing him off. Exterior, Roundup Saloon, continuous. Siringo unhitches his horse and swings up, smiling to Howard and Ida before cantering away towards the woods, riding faster than necessary, like a man who's drunk or who's simulating drunkenness on this winter afternoon.
So long, Charlie.
Drunk as he is, that boy better not stop at the ranch, or they'll kill him before he's off his horse.
Let's not think that way, honey. Charlie seems the type that everybody likes. Come inside.
Voiceover as he rides, we hear an older patrician voice.
So what makes you want to be a Pinkerton operative, Mr. Siringo?
Find the bombing cowards who did this Haymarket outrage, sir. Being nearby when the bombing happened has given me the calling, I guess you might say. Also, I enjoyed doing some detecting and looking for rustling cattle back when I worked the range in New Mexico. That's how I came to know Mr. Pat Garrett, who would speak with my character, I'm sure, if you write him.
The same Pat Garrett who shot Billy the Kid?
The same, sir. A broad-gauge, stand-up man, I can attest. Billy left Pat no choice but to put him down. Billy had already broken out of jail and killed his guards before Pat ended his story.
Coming up to the ridge, Siringo slows to a conventional ride, then dismounts. He gives several downhill shoves to his horse until he stumbles onto her side, then rolls back up, leaving a sand impression of a fall at high speed. Next, he holds the reins while fake falling himself, drags his left leg in the sand, then, sitting on a rock, uses a knife to split his jean leg up the seam, scours his kneecap with pebbles, and pushes his long john above the raw skin to make the knee look swollen. He rides on towards the outlaw's camp, one unbooted leg dangling. The voiceover continues.
I see you have also written a book on the cowboy life. Now, were I to hire you, Mr. Siringo, you would be forbidden from ever writing about your experiences as a Pinkerton detective. I hope that is clear.
Of course, sir. I only write about cowboy matters.
Let's keep it that way. That's an Italian name, isn't it? Siringo?
My father came from Texas from Italy, my mother likewise from Ireland. They met up in the Panhandle, on Texas to the bone.
Exterior, long trail shot, same afternoon. Coming out of some cottonwoods as darkness is falling, he spots smoke from the chimney of the log house beside the Laramie River. Sentry points out the approaching rider. Siringo's POV. A dozen men meet him with guns in their hands. End of Act 1. Act 2. Interior, Pinkerton offices, Denver, day. We look out through the windows of a bright room onto a busy street of 4-story red brick businesses. Blacksmith, confectioners, saloon, law office, etc. This is the office view of James McParland, new manager of Pinkerton's National Detective Agency's Western office in Denver. Tall, beer-gutted, but powerful. He wears a walrus mustache and stares fiercely through rimless spectacles. McParland growls with an old country Irish accent at his hesitant visitor, a male secretary named Collins.
Still nothing from our friend in Wyoming.
Not yet, sir. It's sometimes difficult getting letters out working undercover, as you well know, Mr. McFarland.
Don't flatter me, Collins. Something is keeping him from getting a report in the mail.
He could be pretty far from any town or stuck traveling with the gang. Charlie always finds a way.
McParland flashes his eyes to warn against Collins using Siringo's real name in the office. The secretary sighs as he returns to his desk in the adjoining room.
I know too well about the dangers of undercover work, young man. 6 months into the Molly case, I became so fearful of discovery by those murderers that my hair began falling out. I had to buy a dirty yellow wig to wear up to the bars. Yellow head, they took to calling me.
Camera follows into smaller offices where young Collins is seated, knifing open envelopes and rolling his eyes as if the Molly Maguire story is a frequent companion.
Cold, stupid killers, those Mollys, who all deserve to hang.
Fortunate then that they all got to hang together like brothers.
What's that? I want to hear the instant anything comes in from Wyoming. Am I understood?
Understood, sir.
Listen to me, Mr. Collins. I have kept you on here because you're Irish, seemingly honest, and you keep your mouth shut.
My father is Irish, sir. I am an American.
Oh, aren't we all then? Let me know when Mr. Ames slithers in. I am going to relish handing him his head as a souvenir.
Exterior, Keyline Ranch, night. A dozen men still holding guns on arriving Siringo, seated on his own horse. Tom Hall, the gang's leader, a rangy, authoritative figure, steps forward from the group and aims his own rifle at the stranger.
You better be lost, mister. Otherwise, you must be the law, and we'll hang you on that tree with the others.
Well, I'd be a piss poor lawman to arrive alone with a broken leg and no sidearm.
Your leg broke? How did you manage that?
Riding too fast for the trail bends around the rocks. Left the saloon with quite a load on, too.
Why'd Howard and Gita tell you to drop in here?
Just said there was a group of Texans here who keep to themselves. I thought y'all might make an exception for an old Texas boy carrying a bottle of Howard's whiskey.
Johnny here says we ought to put the noose on you right off, just to see if you fess up to being a detective.
Never worn the necktie myself. The men I've seen hanged might have said to anything even fess up to being a low-life detective to keep from swinging into eternity. I'd ride on to Fort Douglas without troubling you, except for this broken leg.
Fort Douglas is a fire piece. Can't decide anything till we look at that leg. Let's help him slide off there, boys. You two take Lamps and ride up the trail where he says he fell and ask Howard if he remembers serving a fellow from Texas.
Much obliged. Name's Charlie. Charlie Henderson.
Interior log house, Keyline Ranch, same night as the arrival. The men sit Siringo before a beautiful fire, where Tom examines his alleged injury. One of the men who helped him dismount, Jim McChesney, a glowering middle-aged outlaw with silvering hair and stubble, stares hard at Siringo, who slowly peels at his sock.
It's bothering me where I've seen you before. Say you're from Texas? Ever in the penitentiary in Huntsville?
Haven't had the pleasure, but not for the lack of invitation. That's why I came north.
Tom smiles despite his suspicions as he examines Siringo's leg. Jim still looks puzzled.
Wiggle your toes.
Siringo obeys.
There. See? Ain't broke at all.
Siringo feigns surprise. Jim touches his holster as if readying to shoot the fraud.
If you can move those toes, the leg ain't broke, but it does look to be a bad sprain. Let's wrap it tight and see. Now, somebody cut a blanket into strips.
Sound of knife ripping methodically through cloth. We look from Tom's impassive expression to Jim McChesney, still staring baffled at the newcomer. Jim looks like he's living a young man's life for too long.
So if it's not the state prison where I seen you, then where?
My name wasn't always Henderson, but I took it as a boy after leaving Texas in a hurry. You're Jim McChesney, or at least used to be last I saw you.
McChesney looks as though a great card trick had been performed.
I recognize you from when I was growing up in Matagorda County. My family had to leave back in '72, when I was just a boy.
Hold on. Were you one of them Pomfrey brothers that killed their evil pa? An awful thing for a family, but some things gotta be done.
There are sympathetic nods around the room.
I've gone by Henderson ever since. Snuck back visiting over the years, of course. This last time I got in, saw some new trouble and skiff.
Tom pauses in wrapping the leg.
What they want you for?
I had a fatal disagreement. Worked pretty regular as a cowboy for the LX Ranch. Then I developed my own small herd on the side.
Rustling?
Stock detective called it rustling. My friends and I buried him outside of El Paso.
Jim fiddles with a flaking cigar stub he pulls from his pocket. Feels for a match, but finds none.
Well, Charlie, your leg's wrapped. I will try a swig of Howard's whiskey now.
Siringo pulls the bottle from his pocket. He's kept the jacket on to disguise the Colt strapped beneath his shirt.
Hope you didn't pay extra for his good stuff. Old Howard just switches out the labels to sell to cowboys during Roundup. I'm gonna give you my room for tonight while the boys and I talk about what to do with you.
Two men help Siringo hobble through the doorway. Interior, cabin, main room, continuous.
Either he's the real thing or he's one great poker player. Time will tell. I need my knife. Where is it anyway?
One of the men hands Jim an impressive Bowie knife. He feels the long, dirty blade with his rough thumb. Fade. Interior, Siringo's room, same night. Siringo on the bedroll, on the floor. Lamplight shines beneath the closed doors. He removes his shirt and shoulder holster and folds them inside the saddlebag, serving as a pillow. He then unwraps and flexes his leg while trying to decipher murmured arguments in the next room. Interior, cabin, main room, morning. Siringo emerges from the bedroom. Close. Face tenses as he sees the men looking up for his reaction. He smiles as we notice a newly made crutch resting against the hearth.
Well, somebody keeps a sharp knife. In my cowboy days, the fellows called me Dull Knife. Because whenever they asked to borrow my bowie, it was always dull from killing rattlesnakes.
Dull Knife. An Indian name. Well, my daddy taught me you take care of your tools. They take care of you.
Shit, Jim, you never told me you met your daddy.
Shut up. He also taught me how to gut a fish. Or a man.
Guts the air with his blade.
Ever rob a bank before, Charlie?
Can't say I have.
As a cripple, you'll get a half share if you collect.
The men laugh. Interior, Pinkerton Detectives Room, day. Charles O. Ames, wearing a dark mustache and a doomed look, is killing the last minutes before his meeting with James McParland. He grounds out the cigar on the detective's room floor, walks with dread down the hallway toward McParland's light-filled office. He enters.
Mr. Ames, don't close that door. I want everyone to hear this. Let me not waste too much of your final day working for Mr. Pinkerton.
Ames looks stunned, as if this is beyond even his worst scenario.
How's that, sir? Did Mr. Pinkerton himself say that? He gave me this office to run.
Aye, boyo, he did, but not into the ground. As you know, I have been sent here by Mr. Pinkerton to observe how things are run in his family's name. I have found instead a corrupt fiefdom, Mr. Ames, with honest business extorted in the name of protection.
They pay us for a service rendered. Everyone wins.
McParland grips the sides of his desk.
Except for you today, Mr. Ames. I am firing the whole corrupt lot of you while this is still a reputation for this office to salvage in Denver.
All my people?
Indeed, everyone you hired, but not Charlie Siringo. He was engaged by Robert Pinkerton himself, and luckily has been too much on the road to be soiled by your cronyism.
And so I am gone as of today?
When I walk out to lunch, I don't want my eyes offended by the sight of you. The others I will replace on my own schedule and in my own way. You will have nothing more to do with the ops and the clients of this office. If you were a dog, Mr. Ames, I'd put you down without a thought. Now hand over your keys.
Ames slides the iron ring of keys halfway across the desk, pulls back his hand as if expecting a slap.
That is all, Ames. I would have you repay the money you extorted, but I'll guess it's all gone to your bartender. Perhaps I'll ask him for it.
I'd prefer to hear this news from Mr. Pinkerton himself.
Believe me, you would not. For your purpose, I am Mr. Pinkerton, and am close as you will ever be to him again, if you know what's good for you, Ames. Now, scurry from my sight, and don't touch that door or I'll have to douse it with kerosene.
Ames turns and walks, steaming from the room. When he disappears into the stairway, Collins stands, also shocked, in the doorway between their offices.
Sir, did you really just fire everyone but Siringo?
McParland pauses, then looks up.
The whole soiled lot. But not you, Collins. For Christ's sake, what do you think? Unless you were padding your own pockets. Now to start, we're going to need a new code book and new locks. But keep the old book locked in your desk until we hear from Charlie.
End of Act 2. Act 3. Exterior, Wyoming Trail. Night. Wide. 14 men along the dark trail. Bunched among them, a poker-faced Siringo, crutch lashed to his saddle. Unclear if they are escorting him on some nighttime mission or to his execution. Gradually, their destination seems to be some distant piano music. As we get closer, we see a cowboy having his bloody hand dressed by porchlight. One woman in a long dress wraps the gauze around his spread hand, while another woman soothes the other combatant, who is seated on a rocker and bleeding from his own wounds. The gang pass by the wounded men without a remark. Nothing will ruin their night after the long ride. Interior, sporting house, Fort Laramie, night. Outlaws enter and begin twirling prostitutes around the room. Siringo hangs back, leaning on his crutch.
Remember, boys, this round's on me for all your hospitality.
A hoot goes up from the dancers.
Thanks, Charlie. Where'd you get all your money anyway?
Wrestling business was good to me before they chased me out of Texas. I'm gonna need a new line pretty soon.
Tom walks away as one of the women, who goes by Elise, picks up Siringo's crutch, swinging his arm over her shoulder instead. She's youthful, strong, and professionally made up.
I'll be your crutch, honey.
Bet you ain't the first to hold old Charlie's crutch, lady. But it's a short leg you'd best worry about, eh?
So they tell me.
Your name's Charlie?
That's right. Charlie Henderson.
A nice name.
Thanks, ma'am. But I didn't choose it myself.
Mine's Elise. and I did choose it. You still buying drinks, Charlie?
Sure am, Elise.
Well, you buy us a bottle of rye, and we can have our own party in the back.
That does sound nice.
Don't it, though? I'll be gentle with your leg, too, honey. And the best part is, with our own bottle, you can do whatever you want with me, and neither of us is gonna remember what happened.
All right then, Elise. Here's the money for the ride, plus whatever for the room.
Thanks, honey. Take your time now.
Siringo gets salutes from the men, still dancing and negotiating with the other ladies. Interior, dim, mattress-length room, same night. Siringo lies down on the beaten mattress. Elise crawls towards him, pulls a stopper from the bottle, holds it to his lips, spilling some onto his chin and neck. She licks it off, then rolls onto her back, taking a long swig beside him. With one hand, she pulls out Siringo's shirt tails and fumbles at the buttons of his jeans while continuing to drink. Siringo sighs, takes his own swallow, then hands the bottle back.
Drink as much as you need, darling. It's just nice being next to a woman in the condition I'm in.
And what condition is that, Charlie?
My leg's still aching from the long ride.
That's okay, honey. We'll do just enough, but not too much either, okay? Let me help you out there.
That's fine, yes. Just fine.
Elisa's busy hand slows as she lifts the bottle to her mouth, eyes closed. Siringo stares upward, waiting for Elise to pass out. Fade. Elise now lies asleep, clutching empty rye, as Siringo creeps out of the room, tucking in his shirt. Partiers are too loud and drunk to notice him leave. Exterior, downtown Fort Laramie, same night. Siringo rides along Fort Laramie's main street to rent a hotel room downtown, where he writes his reports for McParland and posts them from the lobby before returning to the dance hall before dawn. The floor is a tangle of sleeping bodies and fallen gun belts as he drops back down beside the sleeping Elise. Exterior, rode back from Fort Laramie, day, wide. John Fordish line of men riding unsteadily back to the Keyline Ranch, hats down, hung over in their saddles. Siringo has a look of weary responsibility as the only half-sober party. Ahead of him, he sees Jim McChesney sighting his pistol in the back of Tom Hall's head.
This is for stealing my girl last night.
Jim squints an eye, taking aim at Tom's gently weaving hat, but Siringo rides along and bumps Jim's gun hand as the pistol fires, then snatches the gun away. Tom turns in surprise as Siringo rides to the head of the boozy line, crutch still tied to his saddle.
For Texas boys, you all don't hold your whiskey so well.
Interior, Pinkerton offices, Denver, day. James McParland prowls the office floor, spots an envelope on the desk of the young Secretary Collins, and tears it open. As Collins returns from the washroom, McParland looks triumphant.
Word from Wyoming. He gives the outlaws location and cast of characters and says that a local law should come take them. Need a force of about 30 armed men. The sheriff killer, Bill McCoy, is sailing from South America. But the rest of the gang are escaped murderers and bank robbers. Now he needs to get away before the shooting raid begins. But the gang thinks he can't walk.
Laughs and returns to his own desk.
I need to wire the marshal in Cheyenne. He'll need a sizable posse.
Of course. Interior, Roundup number 5 saloon, night. Return to Howard and Eda's Roundup Saloon, now rowdy with gunmen and several local ladies. One of the gang pauses to reload his gun for firing in the air. The ceiling shows pocks from the past celebration. In the center of the room, surrounded by bits of glass and clumps of sawdust, the camera discovers a pine coffin on the floor. This is actually a wake for Eda, who ran the bar with Howard, seated beside Siringo.
Me and Eda thought we were sending you off to your death, and you come back with a whole gang of new friends and on crutches.
Well, I told you, us Texas boys stick together.
Eda said you had the gift of likability.
She was a kind lady. The little I saw of her was enough to know that much.
Howard smiles mistily, wipes eyes.
She died slow. I am sorry for that. We were feeding her drinks and she suffered right to the end. When I was a patrolman in Cheyenne, I spotted Maida one night dancing at a place called the Howling Moon. I thought there never had been such a loveliness on this earth. I'll probably have to close this place once she's in the ground. The light has gone out for me, Charlie. Say, what was your last name again? I'm sorry, but Eda kept all the names for us.
It's Charlie. Henderson.
You sure about that?
Sure as I can be of anything after drinking with these boys these last weeks.
Although half of them are too drunk to notice this is a good woman's wig. So let's remind them.
We watch Siringo's face as Howard, hand on the bar, begins to sing, softly, then louder, until the guns stop popping and all men are moved by his musical grief.
There's a land that beats this all to hell.
One by one, the boys put up their firearms and hoist their drinks in Ida's honor. When Howard is too overcome, the men pick up this song, toasting the casket as Howard looks on, blubbering. We see him remove a folded telegram from his coat pocket and hand it to Tom Hall, gang's leader, who steps forward to take it, glares reading the message, then looks meaningfully towards Siringo as he begins, in a surprisingly clear baritone.
Oh, see the train go round the bend. Goodbye, my lover, goodbye. She's loaded down with Pinkerton men. Goodbye, my lover, goodbye.
When Tom sings the word Pinkerton, he stares straight at Siringo, as a joke or an accusation. Siringo smiles back. Siringo's POV sees unsmiling Tom and then Howard, no longer crying. As the new song begins, Siringo starts to hobble on his still wrapped leg towards the edge of the room, marking his exits as he meets Jim McChesney near the door.
Get in your coat, Charlie. You're leaving us?
Gotta go warm up the privy.
Well, I think Johnny's in there getting it ready for you. Might need to let the smog clear.
Slow as I move. If I start now, he'll be done before I stump my way to him.
Let me go knock it in for you. Old Johnny's gonna miss the whole service just to take a shit.
Now, suit yourself.
Exterior, shot of saloon outhouse, night, continuous. Jim raps loudly on the outhouse door.
Whoever did that wants to get shot. Stand aside the door or it's gonna be a double funeral.
Come on, Johnny. Our crippled friend needs the privy.
Don't worry about me. Go sing one more for Ida.
All right, then.
Jim goes back inside while Siringo continues to wait, glancing over his shoulder at the saloon door. His POV sees the figure of Johnny finally emerge from the privy and return to the bar. Siringo closes the outhouse door from the outside, leans his crutch against the exterior wall. Exterior, saloon door, same night. Tom Hall storms outside through the saloon door in mid-discussion with Jim McChesney close behind.
How long you known he was a snake for real?
I only just learned it from a telegram one of the boys from Cheyenne gave to Howard. It says the Pinks were sniffing around the dock in New Orleans, asking about Bill.
I'm the one told Charlie about Bill in the first place. So let me do the honors and make it right. I feel sick for trusting him.
Jim stands before the outhouse, sees the leaning crutch that he made, and levels the pistol at the door.
Take a look around, Mr. Charlie Pinkerton, because the shithole is the last thing you'll ever see in this world.
He fires 4 quick shots, splintering the door. Tom fires twice for punctuation. Then the men watch as the door swings slowly open, revealing an empty seat. The crowd has followed the sound of gunfire.
Well, if that detective didn't fuck us a second time.
Exterior, the road to Cheyenne, same night. Siringo riding a dark mountain road, looking back now and then. Gradually, he slows to a canter, pulls his knife from beneath the belt, and begins to cut the layers of wraps off his leg. The rear shot shows the knifed strips floating down to the road behind his running mare. Dissolve. End of Act 3. Act 4, fade in. Exterior, wooded hill overlooking the Keyline Ranch, Wyoming, near dawn. A group of 20 men wait on horseback at the edge of the stand of cottonwoods overlooking the log house of the Keyline Ranch. It is a little after sunrise, and their horses stamp and steam in the quiet. Several members wear stars, but the front line awaits the arrival of the portly older lawman from Cheyenne, trotting up from the rear. It is clearly his posse. The white-bearded and in a gray Stetson, Marshal Clem Hetty squints down the hill towards the ranch, sees the promised log house with the smoke rising from its chimney.
Yep, there she is, just the way Charlie laid the spread out for us. We ride and shooting, but not to kill unless they shoot back.
What else did Charlie say?
Just that they were as likable fellas, but killers mostly. About a dozen of them. 3 escaped from Huntsville, and the rest all have their own warrants. Bill McCoy has slipped down to Buenos Aires, so he won't be joining us. Charlie reported these boys are big drinkers, so let's hope they are sleeping one off. They obviously ain't farmers. Now check your weapons, gentlemen.
Guns are checked, loaded, chambers spun, extra weapons tucked away, hats pushed down against the wind of the coming raid. There's a soft, expert conversation. Then Marshal Hetty says,
Alive if you can, but dead if you have to.
he nods with pistol raised, and the riders thunder down the slope, shooting towards the windows of the sleepy cabin of outlaws. The rider's POV, from inside the building, comes the sound of breaking glass and cursing and some half-hearted return fire. Then finally, the hollering voice of Tom Hall.
It was that goddamn Charlie give us up, wasn't it? Might have been. Or it could be we just wandered your way lost on our snake hunt. Come on out, boys. You don't want to shoot it out with us. You're outgunned and then some. It's Bill McCoy you want, and he ain't even here, so ride on. That's funny. We'll get him by and by, but the rest of you ain't choir boys either. It's over. Don't make us plant your head on the ranch or such a cold day for digging. All right. No one's doing any burying, and we don't want to shoot no more sheriffs either. We'll take our chances with that friendly Judge Clemens in Cheyenne. That's the spirit. Now throw them guns on the porch and come on out in a line, gentle as your grandma.
Interior hotel dining room, Alma, Colorado. Summer, 1888, afternoon. The dining room is the swankest place we've seen yet. Its long windows pour sunlight across the linens and beer glasses, Sunday hats and dresses. We see the beautiful young faces of Mamie Siringo, 21, and daughter Violet, 3. This is Charlie Siringo's POV of his family, seen from the end of a long hotel dining table. His wife and daughter wear matching violet dresses and hats. Charlie sports a fine dark suit for Sunday dinner, napkin tucked to guard his string tie and white shirt. But there's a hitch to this happy scene.
Mining sounds like such a dirty, dangerous business, Mr. Leon. And yet your hands are clean and your manners polished.
Well, ma'am, I clean up some before meeting with elegant ladies such as you and your daughter. Besides which, I do very little of the mining work myself, although I do like it to make my own inspections.
I see. So you are an owner?
More like an investor. I believe Mr. Anderson here is also in mining.
Sitting alone, but near the family group, we notice Jeremiah Anderson, gaunt and bearded, hair thinning, in a blue striped suit and vest. He's been eavesdropping while finishing his coffee at the long table.
Well, that's right, but beg pardon, I don't believe we've met before.
Briefly, but I may have been dirtied up at the time from a mining tour.
In that case, you probably were in the blackface of the underworld. Some days my own white mother wouldn't recognize me coming above ground.
Mr. Anderson, since I'm new investor, I wonder if you might ask you a few questions about the business of mining. At the bar, after dinner perhaps. My treat.
Happy to talk mining with any man who's been below, Mr.
Leon. Charlie Leon.
As the two men leave the table, Violet cheerfully shouts, "Goodbye, Papa," and looks hurt as Mamie corrects her.
While I've been staying at this hotel, I've seen you dining before with that handsome widow. And the little girl I know always calls you Papa. You certainly could do worse, Leon.
Don't I know it? I do enjoy the widow's company, and her girl is a sweetheart. But I'm afraid that's all there is to it. She's a niece of a friend. I'm sort of watching out on her behalf.
A pity. She seems fond of you, and you can't be her only admirer, judging from a look around this place.
Siringo turns. The room now seems filled with leering, well-dressed mining men.
Bunch of prowling wolves. Maybe that's why I keep her company. To shoo them wolves from the campfire.
Well, she's fair game for them then, I imagine.
Siringo lets it go. As the pair reach the hotel's bar and signal for 2 beers, a young man approaches them from the lobby, smiling and carrying a mysterious jar filled with amber fluid. As it comes into greater focus, we see a pale sausage-like object hanging thickly in the liquid.
Gentlemen, I wonder if I might interest you in a historical opportunity.
A moldy sausage? Wait, just a second. That's a man's finger in there.
Not just anyone's, gentlemen. The preserved expert trigger finger of Billy the Kid, the finger he used to kill 21 men.
Siringo squints into the jar.
Well, it ain't moonshine, that's for certain. You get it from Pat Garrett directly?
Not directly, but he gave it to the man I'm selling it for.
It does look like it's from the right hand, which is in its favor. But I have to say, the time I saw the kid in New Mexico, his fingers looked a lot younger and thinner than that puffy thing bobbing in there.
Trying to get the price down, mister? Some bloating is natural over time, I'm told. The fluid pickles the flesh, but not perfectly. I'll take the best offer.
Tempting. But I guess the bigger problem here is that after he put Billy down, Pat Garrett got so sick of all the rumors saying he had cut off the kid's finger for a souvenir that he had him dug up again, just to account for all his digits, in front of witnesses.
Not right. Might be a fun collectible anyway. Something to keep behind the bar, maybe?
Bartender makes a sour face as he sets down 2 drafts.
I don't kid about Mr. Pat Garrett. Don't suit yourself. What you got there is a curio at best, young man. Some anonymous bastard lost his finger for nothing.
For a mining man, you've led a pretty rich life, Mr. Leon.
Yes, a little too rich.
As I said, Anderson, I only recently came to mining as an investment. That's what I hope to pick your brain about. To the mining life.
Interior, hotel lobby, Alma, Colorado, continuous. Mamie continues to sit at the table with Viola, allowing a wealthy older man to approach. Mamie's POV sees Livia Burke in florid dress and imposing hat looming above the table.
Oh, good. Excuse me, Miss.
Hello. Actually, it's Mrs. Siringo. I'm a widow.
Of course. I'm sorry. It's that you're so youthful. Well, I had thought I should alert you to something while I had the chance. I meant to when I saw you in the ladies' lounge. I hope it doesn't seem forward. My name is Livia Burke.
My daughter and I are guests here in town, and always glad for new acquaintances, Mrs. Burke.
Yes, well, I noticed you have been spending some time with that Mr. Leon.
A friend of my uncle's. Seems quite nice, as far as I can tell. Talks a lot about mining.
Seems maybe right, dear. A few of us are worried that you have the wrong impression of Mr. Leon, who is quite another man away from here, known to every dance hall girl and poker room over in the town of Fairplay. My husband says he is catered to their nightly by, pardon my saying it before the child, a gaggle of prostitutes.
Your husband has seen this?
Mr. Burke's business takes him through the town regularly enough to learn its riffraff. In fact, there are men dining in this room who say they've seen him in the dance halls at least 4 nights a week.
So he's not in mining.
Dear, I shudder to think just what is the source of all the money he drops in the dance halls. My friends and I were just concerned that you, a trusting young widow with a little one, were being preyed upon by this man who may not have your best interests at heart.
Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Burke. You've given me much to ponder. We're going home to Denver shortly. Perhaps I'll just try to stay clear until then.
That might be wise. I hope you'll accept my advice in the spirit that we women must look out for each other, especially here in the West.
Agreed. No offense taken. By the way, Viola here is fascinated by your hat.
Well then, tell the child the admiration is mutual.
Good evening, Mrs. Burke.
Mamie clearly looks rattled as Livia Burke walks away from the table. Viola asks her mother, "What's a widow?" End Act 4. Act 5. Interior, Ugly Spur Saloon, Fairplay, Colorado, night. Hardly a gentleman's casino, but most tables in the bar are taken up with serious card playing. Siringo, in cowboy clothes, wearing a gun belt, sits at one of the Spur's several faro tables with 4 other men. Jackie Ridge, to his left, is his Pinkerton assignment, a runty, charming ore thief suspected of assaulting a nearby mine to con an English buyer. The rest are 3 husky, well-armed cowboys who look like card amateurs and potential sore losers. Dance hall girls from the back room wander in and out, encouraging gamblers to buy drinks.
Well, gentlemen, looks like my years of losing at faro are finally paying off.
Is that right? And I'll bet your long streak just happened to end when the 3 of us rubes sat down with you.
Why, I lost to your friend Jackie here only 2 hours ago.
That is the truth.
And you never met him before tonight, I'll bet. You couldn't possibly be partners.
Just friends in the mining business who like a good time.
Is that right? I know we shouldn't have let you be bang for our game. You're some kind of partners, I'll say that.
I've only known Mr. Leon here on and off for a couple of weeks. Mostly we're in the dance hall.
Could be everyone here is a cheat except the man I brought with me. The whole town could be a swindle. Fair play sounded pretty solid to us when we rode in. What could go wrong in a town called Fair Play?
Maybe you should have kept on riding to Rooteville.
Hey! I don't hear you saying didn't cheat us.
Jed's right. This whole town smells like a cracked egg.
Well, gentlemen, it smelled all right to us today when the saloon opened. We play faro here nearly every night, and the winnings always seem to even out. Before you ride on, you need to show you were cheated. Or leave your money where it is, like men.
Seringo leans forward as he reaches one hand under the table.
You saying I ain't a man?
I'm saying it's up to your fellas to act like men or not. Don't forget, there's ladies witnesses.
I don't see no ladies, and I don't have to sit here and...
Before Cowboy 1 can pull, Seringo has clubbed him hard in the face with the butt of a silver Colt, flips it around, and stands over Cowboy number 2 while pointing the muzzle firmly between his eyes. Cowboy 3 is slower to react, sits, hands still on the table. Jackie steals a pistol from the holster of Cowboy number 3.
All right, that's enough for tonight. You two take your slow drop friend out of here, put him on his horse, then ride on.
This ain't over, mister. Not on your bar either.
He helps Cowboy number 1 stand, hands to his bleeding face.
I'd say otherwise. We don't like bad losers in fair play, do we, girls?
Dance hall ladies laugh, lying along the bar, watching the exit. As Jackie walks Cowboy 3 out, holding his own gun on him.
That's my gun.
Then you well know it's loaded. I don't carry one myself. I'm a businessman.
You cold cock my friend here. We'll be back for you boys and maybe shoot up the place while we're at it.
We'll be right here, friend, playing our honest game of faro. Save you all a seat.
Gun extended, Seringo continues to move the 3 cowboys outside. After a struggle to heave their large, injured friend onto his horse, they slowly ride toward the edge of town. Inside the saloon, a huge cheer goes up from the half-dozen women and the room's remaining card players. One of the women, Victoria, approaches the bar.
George, these boys deserve a round for taking out the garbage. If they'd hung around getting meaner, you know which of us they would have taken it out on.
Another cheer goes up as whiskeys are set up along the bar. One after another, the women follow Victoria's lead, giving Seringo a long, celebratory kiss. She raises her champagne glass for a second toast.
To Charlie Leon, he's practically family, and there's nothing we wouldn't do for him. And to his new business partner, Jackie. 2 loyal friends of this bar and this town. Let's drink and have a dance.
Everyone cheers and drinks and begins to head to the back room. As the music starts, a woman runs in the saloon's door out of breath, whispers something to Victoria, whose expression goes stony as she approaches Seringo.
Charlie, Jenny here says she ran into a girlfriend who heard those cowboys planning to come back later tonight and shoot you 2 on sight.
Only one of them can shoot at the moment, unless they're getting more guns. Jackie stole the revolver from the one fella, and I hit the mouthy one pretty good.
I'll talk to George, but I got an idea. We'll lock you 2 back here in the wine closet. When they come in, the girls will tell them you rode out of town.
Locked in a wine closet. Can't think of worse punishment than that. Only could be better with the girls when they're with us, but that might get too noisy.
A good chance to talk mining schemes anyway. Quietly, of course.
Interior, Ugly Spurn Saloon's wine closet. Fair Play, Colorado, same night. Dark in the wine closet, an empty bottle on the floor between them, and only strips of light on the men's faces as Jackie talks.
You really know a man once you've been in a fight together. We're brothers in arms now, and I feel I can trust you more than before. Where'd you get your money anyway?
I got a rich daddy in Texas who wishes I'd stayed on the ranch. Maybe I'll go back someday, but not till I'm richer than he is.
And let's talk business.
If I go in with you, I gotta know, isn't this just the Dakota George scam?
How do you know Dakota George? He used to be a lawman.
No, I read. Everybody knows him. He was a genius at salting mines, and especially at stealing ore.
Well, I did time with George in Kansas. Learned from the best. Really improved myself in prison.
Bought your own inspectors.
Don't need to. I got an investor who's English royalty. He sent in his own people to inspect, who don't know the first thing about silver mining, but they don't trust the Americans who do know it. They bought in, and now they're greedy to get digging. I'm practically holding them back. And all that's just from seeing the first samples I planted.
English royalty. Who has more money than that?
Andrew Carnegie, but he knows a little too much about ore to fall to my scheme.
When do they begin digging?
As soon as the crew can start. And that's the best part. Now they trust me to put the crew together for them, since it has the English seal of approval.
It's perfect. Even if the prince himself comes to visit the mine, you just salt it fresh. What do you need from me?
Just money for the crew, that's all.
It'd be my honor to be part of something so brilliant. You're going to be legendary.
Not too soon, I hope. Don't go bragging on my behalf. Need to get out of the state with the money first.
Outside they hear shouting as the cowboys have returned for vengeance. Siringo pulls his Colt and waits, swigging wine with the other hand.
Where are they? Want to see some righteous cowboys burn this place down, ladies? Maybe we'll throw you over the saddle to take with us, honey.
You missed them. They had a drink and rode out of town ahead of you.
Hard, sharp cowards. Said they'd be waiting for a real fight. It's like everything else in this lying town. Still, we'll check the back room.
Be my guest. Check upstairs too. I don't think any of those rooms are occupied. They're gone.
Why should we take a whore's word?
Well, we don't like trouble, mister. Upsets the customers. Now you boys are welcome to have a shot at the bar before you head out after them. Remember to say nice things about the ugly spur salon.
The hell I will. But we will take your drink first.
Interior, Ugly Spur Saloon's wine closet, Fairplay, Colorado, continuous.
Shouldn't have offered them the drink. They'll settle in.
It's alright. When they find out the second one ain't free, they'll move on. We just gotta hold on in here without a fist fight.
Interior, Ugly Spur Saloon's wine closet, Fairplay, Colorado, later. Almost sunup as the cowboys finally shove off, firing their guns into the air as they ride out of town. Seen from inside, the closet door opens and we see Victoria smiling down at the prone drunks on the closet floor.
They're finally gone. Let's have a dance, you two. Although it looks like you had an all-night party without us.
The other girls pull the men from the wine closet. 2 empty bottles roll out with them.
Yes, girls, I'd say our business is concluded.
A fruitful meeting indeed. Now let me go piss.
Interior, Telegraph Office, Fairplay, Colorado, same morning. Shot over his shoulder shows Siringo writing out a telegram to his Pinkerton boss, McParland. Confession in hand, leaving here, dull knife. Interior, hotel hallway, Alma, Colorado, night. Siringo, dressed in his dark suit, skulks down dim carpeted hallway to knock softly at a guest's door. Another room's door opens part way, then closes judgmentally. Siringo knocks a second time before he hears a woman's voice.
Who's there?
It's Charlie Leon, ma'am. I brought those investment figures you wanted to discuss.
The door opens quietly. She stands in her nightgown, hair down.
Why, Mr. Leon, this is awfully forward of you coming to my room so late. What would my husband say?
Shh. Your husband's dead, remember?
Oh, yes. He might as well be for how he carries on. I hardly remember him. I think he was once a proud store owner. Won't you come in then and discuss your figures?
Siringo steps inside the dark room, tosses his hat.
Oh, you must think your chances are pretty good with the sad young widow.
Could be, I'm just naturally hopeful. But I need to leave early again so not to raise a scandal.
For spending the night with your own wife. Too late for that.
You know what I mean? Not exactly at the moment. And neither are you. But the acting I'm doing for this job keeps me alive.
Don't I know it, Mr. Leon? Viola notices too. She doesn't understand why she has to play pretend all day just to see her papa.
So the two of you can enjoy a cool summer in the mountains.
And we're grateful. But I did love our life in Kansas, if you want to know the truth. Now come to bed, Charlie Leon, before my husband gets here. He's a jealous type. It's a good thing I'm not, by the way. I keep hearing about your girls from strangers in the dining room.
The dining room?
Oh yes, helpful ladies offer advice, and even a couple of suitors tried to tell me how well known you are in the dance halls over in Fairplay. Those girls had better be important to the work you're doing, I'll say that.
Suitors? And how do they know the dance hall so well if they're such gentlemen themselves?
Now that's not the point, is it, Charlie?
I suppose not. Mammy, you know it sickens me to have to do all this carousing with outlaws just to get the drop on them. But even when I'm buying rounds for whores and blackhearts, I'm still your Charlie.
I truly hope you are. But whatever you have to do and whoever you're pretending to be, you've got to keep a little part of you in there that still belongs to me. Dance hall Charlie, I got no use for.
Siringo wraps his arms around Mamie.
Me neither, Mrs. Siringo. You'll never meet that skunk. I just sent a man up in Fairplay who thought he was the best friend in the world. So I'm done with that town. Truth is, I did like him. But that's just the job. I know I can feel like I'm everybody's Charlie, but this right here is the only one you need to know.
The sad truth is, sometimes I already feel like a widow. I just want the cowboy I married, my Charlie, the way he was before the outlaws took him and he began to go wild.
Exterior, Tuscarora, Nevada, night. Wide, Two very loud explosions brightened the night sky, booming from relatively fancy houses within blocks of each other in this squat mining town. Following the blasts, the sound of a flying bed frame and a body landing hard on the ground, murkily seen as flames engulfed the house that it blew out of. A crowd gathers in the street to watch the fire. One man shouts, "That's Peltier's house. They got him." A cheer goes up in the dark. The crowd moves forward to surround the burned Mr. Peltier, still tucked into his bed. Interior, Pinkerton offices, Denver, day. James McParland picks up a telegram left on his desk, reads it and scowls.
Jesus Mary, that two Nevada mining men blown up in their beds on the same night? One poor bastard rode the blast into the air and dropped back to earth, charred but alive. Mining clients wants our best man to befriend the killers and crack their conspiracy. He says their first detectives were already run off.
Collins has cut to the chase and unlocked a drawer of his desk containing a stack of possible operatives. Close, we see him shuffle the deck of note cards as if looking for an ace.
Let's get Charlie. He hates dynamiters almost as much as I do. It's how he got into this line. Sometimes I see in Charlie a younger version of myself. This is the case I'd want when I was an operative.
You want to turn a cowboy into a regular miner?
Cowboy detective, you mean? He's our best undercover man, horse or no horse. They just picked up his ore thief, and the royal family are thrilled. Charlie's in Denver, today doing something secretive, but then we send him into the hole. Those miners are about to meet their worst friend they ever had.
Interior, jail, Fairplay, Colorado, same day. Jackie Ridge stares out in disbelief as he is questioned through cell bars by two Pinkerton agents in dark coats and bowler hats. Blunt city men who look amused by Jackie's plight. He's standing close to the bars, his eyes wild with betrayal.
I'm telling you fellas again, the scheme was all the idea of my business partner, Charlie Leon. I met him playing cards at the Ugly Spur. Ask anyone around town and they'll remember Charlie.
And I'm telling you, Mr. Ridge, that Charlie Leon does not exist. We were hired by the royal family to recover monies from your speculative mining scheme, contracts that you signed alone.
Hear me, gentlemen. This must be all Charlie's fault. He sold me out and poisoned my deal with the investors.
The royals have had their suspicions for some time, Mr. Ridge, and I repeat, Charlie Leon is not a real person. He is an actor who works for us.
You're a liar. He was my friend. I can tell with people, especially thieves.
I'm afraid he's the liar, Mr. Ridge, and a damned fine one.
Exterior, Riverfront Park, Denver, Colorado, day. Rear shot, following Siringo in full Texan rodeo regalia, entering Cowboy Championships registration office. He signs the registry book while officials look on.
Do I have that name right?
Can't ride under the real one.
In some kind of trouble?
Will be if I ride as myself. As long as I get the horse's name right, Pony does most of the work.
That they do. But I don't get it, mister. Are you a cowboy or ain't you? This is a cowboy's championship.
Was a cowboy for most of my life. Doing something else now. It's in my blood. Want to see if I'm as good as I remember.
Want cowboy glory, but don't want the law to read your name in the paper. I see. We'll call you a mystery rider. The crowd will like that. Good luck today, mister. Have a cigar on me.
Siringo takes the cigar, trims it with his knife, leans across the desk to accept the light. Exterior, corridor beside grandstand, Riverfront Park, Denver, same day. Siringo sits astride a white cow pony, deep in shadow, waiting to be introduced by the man with the megaphone. We look beyond him into sunny rodeo corral, where a black cowboy is finishing his roping routine. The large crowd is muted but polite as the announcer says, "And that was Pinto Jim, everyone, Pinto Jim." Siringo visibly tenses, sits up straight, awaiting his cue.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm Western welcome for a real Texas cowboy. Let's hear it for our mystery rider, Dull Knife. Dull Knife, ladies and gentlemen.
Fade out, the end.